question.
I'm asking your client questions. Please, Mr. West.
I object to the court inquiring of Mr. Zimmerman as to his decision about whether or not to testify.
Your objection is overruled.
Well, there's an example of one of several testy exchanges between the defense counsel and Judge Deborah Nelson, who's presiding over the Zimmerman case. And those exchanges are receiving lots of attention. Judge Jeanine Pirro is joining us live now outside the courthouse. Judge, what are your thoughts on the way Judge Nelson has been handling her courtroom so far?
Well, you know, I can tell you that as a judge myself, I mean, there are always testy exchanges between the lawyers and the judges. I mean, you have to understand, Uma, this is an adversarial process. And the defense was convinced the judge did not have the right to ask if Zimmerman, the defendant, had made a decision about whether or not he was going to testify. She had every right to ask that question. I thought the defense attorney was testy as it relates to this particular exchange, and what she was trying to do as the person who's running the courtroom, trying to assess how much time she's going to need. This jury, remember, has been sequestered for 3 weeks. So I don't see as much of an issue as a lot of people do with this. It's the judge's courtroom. She's the one who's in charge. She calls the shots, and she has the right to ask that on the record. In the event down the road, the guy appeals and says, you know, I didn't know that I had the right to testify or not testify. She's got to get that herself, not from the lawyer.
You know, she made a point of mentioning several times that the jury is sequestered and that she wanted to move this case along, and was quite clear and very direct about that point. In fact, the defense was upset at one point by the pace of the trial, and she was so frustrated, she walked out at 10 o'clock at night and turned the lights off out of frustration.
Let me explain something to you, Uma. If I'm a judge and it's 10 o'clock at night and I've already ruled on an issue that the defense attorney has made a record of, and it's time to leave, when the judge stands to leave, everybody does. The judge doesn't stand and wait until the defense goes over and over and over. He made his record, she made her decision, and that's the end of it. But by the way, I don't know if you can hear it, but there are some shouts behind me. I'm in front of the Sanford courthouse, and there are about 75 people outside right now, far fewer than a lot of people had anticipated as we wait for the verdict in this case. It is a very warm day here. People have been here since about 8 o'clock, but it is not the crowds that we thought we'd have.
And really quickly, overall, how do you assess the closing arguments?
I thought the closing arguments were done very well. Of course, you know that the defense took longer than the prosecution, but the prosecution came back with some good arguments. Here's the bottom line, Uma. This is a tough case. Each side tried to pull out what they could from the evidence. But at the end of the day, it's not unlike so many homicide cases, and every homicide case, in fact, one person is dead, and there's only one person's version you're going to get. At the end of the day, we'll see what justice is.
Well, Judge Jeanine Pirro, it's great to have you on our show today. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.